There's an electric car that costs about $8,000. It plugs into an ordinary household outlet. Its top speed is just 45 kilometers an hour. It has almost none of the features modern cars proudly advertise. Yet it's completely legal on public roads across much of Europe. So if engineers can still build something this simple, why has a simple, everyday car become so difficult to buy? This isn't just the story of a tiny EV, it's the story of the affordable car we quietly stopped building. The $8,000 car nobody expected, the Citroen Ami, doesn't look like the future. In fact, many people don't even think it looks like a real car. It's tiny, boxy, almost perfectly symmetrical. Its wheels look too small. Its body looks too simple. And standing next to almost any modern SUV, it seems completely out of place. Yet appearances can be misleading. Across much of Europe, the AMI is a fully legal electric vehicle built for everyday transportation. Not for road trips, not for high-speed highways, not for showing off. Its entire purpose is far simpler than that: getting people across town. Its specifications sound almost unbelievable in today's market. A price of around $8,000, a top speed of about 45 kilometers an hour, 2 seats, a battery that charges from an ordinary household outlet. Those numbers don't just make the AMI unusual, they make it feel almost impossible. Because in a world where the average new car keeps getting larger, heavier, and more expensive, this tiny vehicle somehow went in the opposite direction. The obvious explanation is that it's cheap because it's small, but small cars have existed for decades. Very few reach this price while remaining road legal, so size alone cannot explain the difference. Something much more important happened long before the first AMI rolled onto the road. It happened on the engineer's drawing board. The real story isn't about how small the car became, it's about how differently it was designed. And once you begin looking at the decisions hidden beneath its simple body, the $8,000 price starts making a lot more sense. Engineers started removing things. For decades, the automotive industry followed a familiar pattern. Every new generation of cars usually arrived with something extra: a larger display, more speakers, more cameras, more sensors, more computers, more software. Every addition promised a better driving experience. But every addition also made the vehicle a little more complicated, a little heavier, and a little more expensive to build. The Citroen Ami followed almost the opposite philosophy. Instead of asking, "What else can we add?" its engineers kept asking a different question: what can we remove without changing the vehicle's purpose? That single question shaped almost every part of the car. Take the doors. Instead of creating two completely different designs, both doors share almost the same structure. One opens forward, the other opens backward. It looks unusual, but it reduces the number of unique parts that need to be designed, manufactured, and stocked. The same philosophy appears across the body. Several exterior panels are symmetrical or interchangeable. Using fewer unique components means fewer production tools. Fewer production tools mean lower manufacturing costs. Inside, the story continues. There isn't a massive touchscreen dominating the dashboard. Drivers can simply use their own smartphone for navigation. The cabin avoids unnecessary complexity and focuses on basic transportation. None of these decisions seems revolutionary by itself, but together they reveal a very different way of thinking. Not engineering by adding, engineering by removing. That doesn't make the AMI the perfect car. It isn't. It's slow, it has clear limitations, and it was never designed to replace every vehicle on the road. But perfection was never the objective. Every feature left out reduces weight. Every simplified component reduces complexity. Every shared part removes another layer of manufacturing cost. The surprising discovery isn't that engineers suddenly learned how to build an inexpensive electric vehicle. It's that they were willing to design a car around a question that much of the industry gradually stopped asking. How little does a car actually need to do its job? And once that question is asked, another one becomes impossible to ignore. If building a simple $8,000 electric car is still possible today, why did so many affordable cars disappear in the first place? The tiny car that helped save BMW. The idea behind the Citroen Am I feel surprisingly modern. Build less, use fewer parts, keep costs low, focus on simple transportation. But this philosophy didn't begin with electric vehicles. In fact, one of the most famous examples appeared nearly 70 years ago, and it looked even stranger. The BMW Isetta barely resembled a conventional automobile. Its entire front opened like a refrigerator door. The steering wheel swung outward with it. The engine was closer to what many motorcycles use than what people expected from a car. It looked awkward, tiny, even funny. Many people dismissed it before ever understanding why it existed. Yet the timing could not have been more important. During the 1950s, much of Europe was still rebuilding after World War II. Large family cars remained expensive for many households. Fuel mattered, space mattered, price mattered. The Isetta wasn't designed to impress anyone. It was designed to be something ordinary people could actually afford. And that decision helped BMW survive one of the most difficult periods in its history. The lesson isn't that every modern driver should own a microcar. It's something much simpler. There was a time when building an extremely small, affordable vehicle wasn't considered a compromise. It was considered smart engineering, which raises another question. If small, practical cars once made perfect economic sense, why did some markets continue building them while others gradually moved away? Japan never really let go. While many countries slowly shifted toward larger vehicles, Japan continued investing in something very different. Small cars never completely disappeared, they simply evolved. Today they're known as K cars, and for millions of drivers, they're still the most practical choice. Strict size and engine regulations created a category unlike almost anywhere else in the world. Manufacturers responded by becoming incredibly efficient. Instead of competing to build the biggest vehicle, they competed to use every centimeter as intelligently as possible. Tiny on the outside, surprisingly spacious inside, easy to park, easy to drive through crowded cities. Models like the Honda N-Box regularly rank among Japan's best-selling vehicles. That surprises many people outside the country, because these aren't niche products. They're mainstream transportation. Families use them, retirees use them, delivery drivers use them, small business owners depend on them every day. The success of K cars doesn't prove that every country should copy Japan. Different roads, different regulations, different driving habits, but it does prove something important. The idea of a small, affordable, everyday car never completely disappeared. In some places, it simply continued evolving. So if the concept still works, why did so many other markets begin moving in the opposite direction? When cars started growing. The answer didn't arrive overnight. There wasn't one decision, or one company, or one invention. Instead, the industry changed little by little, one generation at a time. Cars became larger, engines became more powerful, cabins became quieter, screens became bigger, safety systems became more advanced, software became more complex. Every improvement solved a real problem. But almost every improvement also added another layer of cost. Consumer expectations changed as well. Features that once belonged only to luxury cars slowly became normal. Touchscreens, heated seats, multiple cameras, power-adjustable everything, driver assistance systems. Each innovation made cars more capable. Yet together, they also made simple transportation increasingly difficult to build at a very low price. The Citroen Ami moved in the opposite direction, not by inventing revolutionary technology, but by refusing to join that race. And that raises perhaps the biggest question of all. If modern cars became more expensive, one feature at a time, how much of today's price comes from the things we truly need, and how much comes from everything we've learned to expect? The cost. Nobody sees. The biggest reason modern cars became expensive isn't always visible from the outside. Most people notice larger wheels, bigger touchscreens, or more aggressive styling, but many of the biggest costs are hidden beneath the bodywork. A modern vehicle contains dozens of electronic control units. Cameras watch the road ahead, radar tracks nearby traffic, ultrasonic sensors help with parking, computers constantly exchange information behind the scenes. Thousands of meters of wiring connect everything together. Each system solves a real problem. Each system improves capability, but every new component also adds another layer of engineering, manufacturing, and testing. Then there is software. Modern vehicles are no longer just mechanical machines. They are computers on wheels. Every display, every sensor, every electronic feature must communicate reliably with the others. That requires more processors, more programming, more validation, more updates. Even before a single car reaches a dealership, thousands of engineering hours have already been invested in making every system work together. None of this suggests these technologies are unnecessary. Many improve safety, many improve comfort, many make driving easier. The real question is different. Do all cars need every one of these systems? Or have we slowly reached a point where even the simplest vehicle is expected to carry the complexity of a premium one? And once that expectation becomes normal, building an affordable car becomes far more difficult than it first appears. What AMI refused to become the Citroen? AMI answered that question in a very unusual way. Instead of trying to compete with larger electric cars, it simply refused to become one. It doesn't chase high performance, it doesn't chase long driving range, it doesn't chase luxury. There are no oversized displays stretching across the dashboard, no powerful entertainment system, no attempt to transform the cabin into a mobile living room. Everything inside serves one purpose: helping the vehicle move people through the city with as little complexity as possible. That decision naturally creates compromises. The AMI is slow. Its range is limited. It isn't designed for highways. It isn't the ideal choice for every driver. And Citroën never pretended otherwise. Rather than trying to satisfy every possible customer, the AMI focuses on one very specific mission: short urban journeys, nothing more, nothing less. That may sound like a limitation, but it also reveals a very different philosophy. For years, the industry kept asking how many new features could fit into a car. The AMI asks almost the opposite question. What happens if a vehicle is designed around only the features it actually needs? That shift in thinking doesn't just change the vehicle, it changes the definition of value itself. Maybe we've been asking the wrong question for decades. Buying a car often meant comparing numbers. Horsepower, top speed, acceleration, screen size, speaker count, driving modes. Every new model promised something more, something bigger, something faster. The AMI quietly ignores almost all of those comparisons. Instead, it asks a much simpler question. What problem is this vehicle supposed to solve? If the answer is driving across a continent, the AMI is the wrong vehicle. If the answer is commuting across a crowded city, its priorities begin to make much more sense. That difference becomes easier to understand when you look at how people actually use transportation every day. A retiree driving to the local market, a student traveling across town, a shop owner making short deliveries, someone commuting only a few kilometers to work. None of these journeys demand sports car performance. They demand reliability, low operating costs, simple parking, and enough practicality to complete everyday tasks. Perhaps that is the biggest question the AMI leaves behind. Not whether every car should become smaller, but whether our expectations of cars have gradually become much larger than our everyday needs. And if that happened, maybe the disappearance of affordable cars wasn't caused by one invention. Maybe it happened one expectation at a time. The affordable car. We quietly lost by now. It's clear that the Citroen Ami isn't trying to compete with every car on the market. It doesn't need to, because it was never designed to solve every transportation problem, only one: affordable urban mobility. That idea once existed almost everywhere. There were cars built for young drivers buying their first vehicle. Cars built for retirees who no longer needed something large. Cars built for families that simply wanted an inexpensive second vehicle. Cars built for short commutes instead of long road trips. They weren't exciting, but they were accessible. And for millions of people, accessibility mattered more than performance. Today, many buyers face a very different market. Vehicles are larger, more powerful, more capable, more connected, and often far more expensive than the simple transportation many people are actually looking for. The Citroen Ami doesn't reverse that trend, but it reminds us that another approach is still possible. One where simplicity is treated as a design objective rather than a missing feature. That may be why such a small electric vehicle attracts so much attention. Not because it's perfect, not because everyone wants to own one, but because it forces people to ask a question that reaches far beyond this tiny car. When did affordable transportation stop being one of the industry's biggest priorities? It was never just about an $8,000 EV. At first, the Citroen Ami looks like the story. By the end, it feels more like the evidence. It doesn't prove that every country should build cars exactly like this. It doesn't prove that bigger vehicles are wrong. And it certainly doesn't prove that modern technology has no value. Instead, it exposes something much more interesting. The ability to build a simple, affordable vehicle never completely disappeared. The engineering still exists. The manufacturing knowledge still exists. The question is whether today's market still creates enough space for products built around that philosophy. Over the past several decades, cars became safer, cleaner, more comfortable, more capable. Those achievements are real, but they also came with additional complexity, higher costs, and changing expectations. None of those changes happened overnight. They accumulated one generation at a time. until many people began wondering why a basic new car had become increasingly difficult to find. The Citroen Ami doesn't answer every one of those questions. It wasn't designed to. What it does is challenge one assumption: the assumption that affordable cars disappeared because building them became impossible. Perhaps the harder challenge isn't engineering. Perhaps it's finding a place where a vehicle designed around simplicity still makes economic sense. Maybe that's why this tiny electric car matters. Not because it represents the future, and not because it represents the past, but because it reminds us that another philosophy of car design still exists. A philosophy that starts with one simple question: what does a car actually need to do? Everything else comes after that, and perhaps that's the biggest lesson hidden inside an $8,000 electric car.